everybody. I'm Marcie ROTH. I am the Executive Director of the World Institute on Disability, and I am very pleased to have the opportunity to have this fireside chat today, where we will be talking about bringing accessibility into curriculum. Why don't I turn to our knowledgeable speaker, and we'll have you introduce yourself and tell everyone about the ATHENA Project and what you're doing.
Thank you very much for having me and for this outstanding opportunity to introduce our ATHENA Project. My name is Klaus MIESENBERGER. I'm professor for computer science at the Johannes Kepler University Linz here in Austria. It is about 180 kilometers to the west from Vienna. Yeah, and I work there as professor for computer science since 35 years, 37 actually, a long time ago. And as a computer scientist, I started at that time to work on access to computers for people with disabilities, which was very new at that time. No HTML, no internet, nothing, but fascinating potentials already there. And also I started the support center for students with disabilities. So we did not do only research. Today we would name it user-centered, user-focused design and development. We started at that time, and today we support about 300 students with disabilities in all faculties, in all courses of studies, and all kind of disabilities. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I teach accessibility. I teach assistive technology, and accessibility, a small part, is compulsory for all IT students, and so they get at least the first idea about accessibility. And this is also what our ATHENA project is about. When we see that accessibility and inclusion is politically accepted, that we know about the economic benefit, that we know about the social benefit for our society at so many layers, it should be part of the curriculum. And a famous philosopher, Kuhn, has said, what is important is in the curriculum. And about 20 years ago, we started with students a small research activity and looked into curricula, if accessibility, assistive technology can be found. And the outcome was nothing. Nowhere. And the amazing thing was, when you looked into special education, therapy, and care professions, they even also did not look into accessibility. And also service providers for people with disabilities. And there I thought there has to be a change. We have to bring accessibility, assistive technology into the curricula. We talk about 10, 15, 20% of the population. We are talking about an aging population in the Western countries, and therefore this change has to be made as a follow-up to the legal changes, to the societal changes, and that's what ATHENA is about. What we do, we go on with analyzing core curricula. Computer science is one of them, because IT plays an important role in digitization. We look into architecture, we look into education, we look into therapy, we look also into urban planning and things like that. And we look, is accessibility there? Is it mentioned? Is it compulsory? Is it elective? And the second step after the analysis, we try to make proposals, curricular proposals, how to bring accessibility into the curriculum. And the third aspect of the project is negotiating with accreditation bodies, with government bodies, making an offer and say this would be an approach that the curricula, which you are paying for in the end, which you are accrediting, that they are in line with the most important social issues in today's society. And this is what ATHENA actually is about.
ATHENA is an amazing project and initiative. I know that your success has carried far beyond your university. I know that in the U.S., Teach Access was born out of your work. Where else is the Athena Project emerging globally?
Globally, I have to say, of course, I had the privilege to have my sabbatical in the US, and I met several people from the initiative Teach Access, Larry Goldberg and these guys. And as I started already earlier, I was able to be a founding member of these activities. Actually, we are focusing on Europe at the moment because what we learned, there are very few curricula which really take into account accessibility yet, and these examples we are taking up. We know there is interest in Arabic countries. There is a huge interest, we were surprised, in African countries at universities because, so to say, their approach to technology, to accessibility is much more direct due to the bypassing of a lot of organizational issues. For example, banking is a direct mobile approach towards that, and accessibility a natural ingredient of that, and therefore it is much nearer. And of course we do hope when we have our curriculums proposed to share it with whatever country is interested in, and to build up a community, and in particular to impact on the accreditation bodies and to impact on the decision makers at universities.
Yeah. A value add in many university programs to make this sort of commitment to accessibility. Tell me, are you finding that students are more willingly coming into the curriculum? Are you finding that there's more interest in expanding farther?
That's a good question. I did not analyze it. I would say it's like my courses in mathematics or logics. There are students who are interested and dive into it, and there are students who do it because they have to do it. But for sure, you reach at least a certain group, let's say about 20, 30, 40% of the students who are really interested in social issues. In technical studies like computer science, a lot of courses miss this direct context to social issues in society. And with accessibility, they are immediately there. And they appreciate that. And the outcome is, of course, I have a lot of students interested in practical programming, going after the lecture in a bachelor, master thesis, and even PhD if we can finance them. So there is really a good group. You touch them by the heart when you say accessibility and when they learn what it is about, helping people.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah. One of the areas I'm particularly interested in is disaster risk reduction. I think there's a huge opportunity in the business of planning for, responding to, and recovering from disasters and extreme weather, climate change. And as technology is evolving, I think there's a huge opportunity to develop accessibility solutions. And so I'm hoping that as a program like Athena and the Teach Access program in the US, I'm hoping that there will be a greater commitment to the kind of technology that will be available in our most challenging days. Have you found that there's anyone who's kind of gravitating to an interest in climate issues or any of the technologies for early warnings? I know the UN is really focused on early warnings, and I see that as a huge opportunity for technology.
For sure, yeah. When saying there are students interested in social issues, these global challenges which we have, they are interested.
Good.
Much more so. The young generation is teaching us that so to say, the focus has to be much broader than we often focus at in teaching and at university. And yeah, I think one lesson we are able to teach towards mainstream in this direction is with accessibility to allow people to get the information they need in diverse situations.
Yes.
It might not be called accessibility or whatever, but if you're able in a disaster situation that you get it by audio, that you get vibrating feedback, that you have the opportunity to call an emergency number not only by dialing on a touch display, but making some movements. Or it recognizes your words, which you are speaking, or even other expressions. It might be sensors on your body or whatever you need. And in the end, this is research in accessibility, which we are already doing, which we can contribute towards that. The one message I always try to give is what we have to do in all this research about disaster and warning, expose the interface to the devices, to the messages, to the human-computer interface. And whatever the device is which you are using, it might be a mobile phone, it might be a special device, it might be the car radio, or whatever it might be, it has to be able to consume the information and provide it, give access in the way the person needs it in the actual situation.
Exactly right. And information has to be actionable and accessible.
Right.
And in those most critical moments, if it's not accessible, if it's not actionable, then we've really missed the opportunity, not only for people to take care of their own personal protective
But also
needs,
supporting,
but also to support the community.
Yeah, the firefighters, the emergency people, the medical people, whoever, they don't have the possibility to take a mobile phone in their hands. They need other communications, and they can learn. This is already done by people with disabilities interacting with the technology.
Absolutely.
And that's what we can bring in.
Yeah.
As you know, many such technologies which we use nowadays, they are based on assistive technology and accessibility.
Exactly. Exactly. The curb cut effect, right?
Yeah.
Where
the example I always use in education is the keyboard, which was invented by an Italian, Pellegrini, for offering his blind girlfriend the opportunity to write letters on paper as a blind person. And what came out was the keyboard. And we are still tortured in school to learn it and to use it, and everybody uses it, and also on the mobile phone. And predictive typing, for example, and so many examples. And as you said and asked about emergency situations, this is again technology where accessibility can really make a huge contribution, because this is tested, this is proven that in extreme situation that it's usable, accessible, and beneficial for everybody.
Exactly. I'm really very pleased to hear that your students, because of their interest in humanity, because of their interest in the future, that their interests in climate change, their interests in other urgent matters of the day are being integrated into the work that you're doing on accessibility. I applaud your leadership. Any parting thoughts you'd like to share?
I would say the next step which we have to take and which we try to do is, again, user-centeredness. Universities are, let's say it in a provocative way, are exempted of people with disabilities very often. You might find them in administrations, you might find them as students at bachelor and master level, but when it comes towards academic excellence, PhD, tenure track, professorship, where are people with disabilities? And this means to learn how science, research can be done with people with disabilities. We have to try to involve them at university, to offer them the possibilities to study, to offer them career opportunities, and of course in the end not everybody can stay at university, but taking leadership in society. And still our society is built on that, that we have the academic career and then take a decision-making position in society. And here we have to invest more. And that's what we try. Half of the staff which I have has a disability. And we try to keep this ratio because we focus on accessibility and assistive technology. And this, I think, is a core issue following up to ATHENA, to say if you want to have it in the curricula, the right persons who can teach it are people with disabilities themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. The ATHENA Project is really a model for the future.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate the opportunity to have this fireside chat, and I'm looking forward to more conversation moving forward.
Thank you, Marcie.
Thank you
so
very much.
Thank you very much.